Right now, somewhere, a guy is doing his 100th crunch of the day. Convinced that's the move. It isn't. You can't crunch your way to visible abs. The belly fat sitting on top of them doesn't care how many you do. Here's what nobody tells you. Getting to 12% body fat, land enough to actually see those abs, has almost nothing to do with effort. It comes down to not making 4 specific mistakes. Mistakes that turn your own body against you, slowing your metabolism, spiking your hunger, quietly stealing the muscle you worked for. So I went through the real research and the people who study this for a living. Dr. Mike Israetel, Dr. Layne Norton, Eric Trexler, Dr. Herman Pontzer. The system they point to is almost the opposite of what the fitness industry sells you. Let's start with the mistake that wrecks people in week 1. The scale is lying to you. Most people start a cut obsessed with one number. The scale, down today, good day. Up today, ruined. But the scale can't tell you what you actually lost. That's the trap. When you eat in a deficit, your body doesn't politely burn only fat. It'll burn muscle too if you let it. 2 guys can both drop 20 pounds. Same number on paper. One ends up lean and athletic. The other just ends up a smaller, softer version of himself. The difference is muscle. Muscle is the shape. It's the thing that makes lean actually look lean instead of just skinny. And losing it backfires twice. Dr. Mike Israetel's whole point here is that muscle isn't just looks insurance, it's appetite insurance. Strip away too much and your hunger climbs. Your body pushes you to eat every pound right back on. So rule 1, your first job on a cut isn't losing weight, it's protecting muscle. Nail that, and everything after it gets easier. Which raises the obvious question, how hard do you actually have to train to keep it? The answer is going to annoy the gym bros. You need way less training than you think. In 2016, researchers ran a study that sounds like a typo. They put young men into a brutal 40% calorie deficit, real starvation level territory, 4 weeks, then had them train hard, heavy resistance work plus intervals, and they fed one group high protein. The expected result? Lose fat, lose muscle, look deflated. What actually happened? The high protein group lost real fat and gained about 2.5 pounds of muscle in a steep deficit. Read that again. They were eating dramatically less than they burned and still built muscle. Longland et al., American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, that breaks the rule everyone repeats, that you can't lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Under the right conditions, you absolutely can. And here's the kicker. The training that protected their muscles wasn't 6 savage days a week. It's a handful of hard, challenging sets per muscle group, done consistently. That's the signal. You're telling your body this tissue is still needed. Don't break it down for fuel. Keep sending that signal, and your body gets weirdly willing to pull from fat instead. So training is the lever, but it only works if the next piece is in place. The one nutrient doctor, Layne Norton, says matters more than any other. Add protein before you subtract anything. Most people start by subtracting. Cut carbs, cut sugar, cut the late night snack. Layne Norton flips it. Start by adding one thing first. Because protein quietly solves 2 problems at once. 1. It's the muscle protector we just talked about. The raw material your body needs to hold on to lean tissue. 2. See, it's the most filling macro there is. Gram for gram, it kills hunger better than carbs or fat. And on a cut, hunger is the real enemy. Not willpower, not motivation, hunger. The research lands around 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. And if you're chasing single digits, drift toward the higher end. Don't get lost in the decimals. The principle is what matters. Anchor every single meal with protein. Here's the freeing part. Once protein's locked in, the rest is flexible. More carbs? Fine. More fats? Also fine. The studies are clear. The perfect macro split barely matters next to one question: can you actually stick to this 6 months from now? Quick thing. If this is already clicking, the next part is where your body starts fighting back. And most people quit right there. Hit subscribe so it doesn't get buried. Okay, back to it. Because even with protein dialed and calories in check, there's a wall coming. And almost everyone hits it at the same point. The deficit is the only engine. Let's be blunt about what actually causes fat loss. Not protein, not clean eating, not some fat-burning tea. A calorie deficit, burning more than you take in. That's the only thing that forces your body into its fat stores. Full stop. Layne Norton's point is that people obsess over the perfect meal plan while ignoring the one variable that decides the result: total calories. So how many do you need? Most people grab an online calculator. Fine as a starting point, but those calculators can be off by hundreds of calories. Same formula, 2 people, completely different reality. Here's the smarter move. Treat the number as a guess, then track your weight as a trend, not the daily noise from water and salt, the 2-week trend line. Dropping about half a pound to a pound a week, you're dialed in. Nothing's moved in 2-3 weeks? Adjust. Your scale gives you the hypothesis, your body grades it. But even a perfect deficit won't stay perfect, because your body is about to change the rules on you. It's why it stalls, and it's not your fault. The first few weeks feel amazing. The scale's moving. Clothes fit better. You feel unstoppable. Then the same plan stops working. You didn't do anything wrong. Your body adapted. Metabolism researcher Eric Trexler studies exactly this. Your body has no clue you want to look good at the beach. All it knows is food got scarce, so it defends itself. A lighter body burns fewer calories just existing. But it goes further. You start fidgeting less, moving less, running a little more efficiently. Researchers call it adaptive thermogenesis. Each change is tiny. Stacked together, they quietly erase your deficit. Meanwhile, hunger climbs, food looks better, cravings get loud. Your body is actively trying to drag you back to your starting weight, because to your biology that is home. This is exactly why so many people stall around 18 to 20% and quit. Not a weakness. Adaptation. So what do most people do next? The most logical thing on earth, and it's a disaster. Stop cutting harder. Use diet phases. When the scale stalls, instinct says, eat less, cut harder. Stay on the diet longer. It feels right. It's the trap. Push the deficit deeper and deeper, and eventually you crack. Energy tanks. Workouts fall apart. You're standing at the fridge at midnight, wondering what you want to eat the entire kitchen. Trexler's point. People don't fail because the diet was wrong. They fail because they stayed in the diet too long. Dieting is a sprint, not a marathon, and there's a study that proves backing off actually works better. It's called the Matador study. They split men with obesity into 2 groups. Group 1 dieted straight through. Group 2 dieted in 2-week blocks. Diet 2 weeks, eat at maintenance 2 weeks, repeat. Both groups spent the same total time in a deficit. The diet break group lost about 50% more fat. Their metabolism slowed only half as much. And 6 months later, they'd kept more of it off. That's the power of diet phases. You cut for a stretch, say 8 to 12 weeks. Then you sit at maintenance on purpose. Not gaining, not losing, letting your metabolism and your sanity recover. Then you cut again. Most people panic at maintenance. Feels like quitting. It's the opposite. Maintenance is what protects the progress you fought for. But there's still one tool everyone reaches for too early. Cardio. And the science on it is not what you think. Cardio is overrated. Steps are underrated. You've heard it forever. Want to lose belly fat? Do more cardio. Burn 300 calories, lose more fat. Simple math. Except your body doesn't do simple math, Dr. Herman Pontzer mapped this out. It's called the constrained energy model. When you crank up exercise, your body quietly compensates. You move less the rest of the day. You fidget less. You get hungrier. So that 300-calorie session? Studies show your total daily burn often climbs by only a fraction of what you'd expect. Sometimes just a third of it. Pontzer and Trexler. So cardio isn't useless. It's just not the engine. And one form of movement beats it. For a completely different reason. Walking. Appetite researcher Dr. John Blundell describes something called the regulated zone. When you're too sedentary, your appetite actually uncouples from how much you burn. Your body stops matching hunger to need, and you drift into overeating without noticing. Push your daily activity up, and you snap back into that regulated zone, where hunger and burn line back up. That's why steps win. Build a base of roughly 7,000 to 9,000 steps a day before you add a single cardio session. Stalling later? Nudge it higher. And remember the ratio. About 80% of your fat loss adjustments should come from food, only 20% from cardio. But there's a final boss here, and it has nothing to do with food, lifting, or steps. It's in your head. The mental game nobody trains. You can know every single thing in this video and still gain it all back, because the last battle is behavioral. Take the classic mistake. The big dinner on Saturday. So you barely eat all day to save up. By the time you sit down, you're feral. Every appetizer's gone. Dessert's non-negotiable. One meal turns into a whole weekend. Then comes guilt. And guilt triggers punishment. Extra cardio, skipped meals, brutal restriction. Which makes you hungrier, which sets up the next blowout. Restrict, binge, guilt, restrict. That loop can run for years. It's so well documented researchers gave it a name. The restraint disinhibition cycle. The fix is almost boringly simple. Own the choice. Want the meal? Have the meal. Enjoy it. Then go straight back to normal. No punishment. No making up for it. And the hardest truth of all, a little hunger is normal. If you're getting genuinely lean, you'll feel hungry sometimes. That's not failure. That's the process. The goal was never zero discomfort. It's learning to sit a little and not panic. Stop treating every craving like an emergency, and fat loss quietly becomes something you can actually keep. So step back. After every study and every expert, the takeaway is almost annoyingly plain. There's no magic. There's a stack of simple things done together. Protect muscles, lead with protein, run a real deficit, expect the adaptation, use diet phases instead of grinding forever, walk more than you sprint, and stop punishing yourself for being human. Here's the line I want stuck in your head. The people who actually hit 12% aren't the most disciplined in the gym. They're the most consistent outside it. This body isn't built in a savage 6-week push. It's built by ordinary effort, repeated long enough that results stop being optional. So here's your open loop. You now know the system. The only question left is which mistake you've been making, because almost everyone watching is stuck on one of these 4. Next video, I break down exactly how to structure your first diet phase, week by week. Subscribe, and I'll see you in it.